Well, I believe we're live now. Hi, everybody. Wanted to say hello out there, and it has been a crazy week since we've gotten home from DragonCon, and we thought that we would, or at least I would, sit down for a second and chat with you guys and let you know kind of what was going on and how everybody's doing, and just kind of give you a 411 on what to expect from us because it's been a hot minute, and we've been getting back into our cycles. Want to make sure that we have everything good to go. But before we do that, topcycle.etsy.com. Okay, there we go. So there we go. So I just wanted to do something real quick. Got it. All right. So this is just for later. I'm going to put this on there since it's already in there. Boom, boom. There we go. Boom. All right. That was just something I was trying to put together before we went, which is, of course, that we do have some DragonCon carpet flasks that we have been making. And people have been asking, hey, can I get a DragonCon carpet flask? And we're like, we don't sell online. And they're like, but we'll pay money. And we're like, all right, well, we'll try this out. And so we put on the only thing in our store is a DragonCon carpet flask. Sorry, there was a little thingy on there. I had to get that off. But so anyways, wanted to tell you guys what happened at DragonCon, how everything kind of went, and then, of course, kind of fill you in on what to expect. And I'm trying to angle my head so you guys don't get that horrible light behind me. And no matter what I do, I keep seeming to lean into it. So we'll let that go. But anyways, hi, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Everything over here in Castle Popcycled is going well. If you caught any of my Facebook live streams with Laura, you will know that we've had a phenomenal DragonCon 2021. So for those of you who are curious, what is DragonCon? It's a little difficult to explain, but we try to give people as much of an idea of it as possible, which is DragonCon 2021 basically is the world's largest fan multimedia sci-fi fantasy convention. And they call themselves that for a very specific reason, which is they kind of hodgepodge everything together. And they really run it by fans. It really is run by fans. And it's a pretty wild experience. The thing that DragonCon mostly is known for, two things. One, their incredible vendor hall, which always has the most unique, wild stuff, and people love going there in order to sell their wares, and cosplaying. The cosplays that you see here, people talk about San Diego Comic-Con, people talk about New York Comic-Con, but for my money, from all the cosplays I've ever seen, the best cosplayers in the world come to DragonCon. They are absolutely amazing. And as a result, there is a lot of people who are, just making all the stuff. If you ever know of somebody like Yaya Han, who is kind of become like the face of cosplaying, at least in the last decade, she is a big DragonCon person, things like that. So getting into DragonCon as a vendor, where you can go into their vendor hall, is a big deal because DragonCon is one of those shows where people want to show up, they save up money all year, and they want to go because they feel like the stuff that they're going to find there is going to be unique, and you're not going to find it anywhere else. So every year, they have a very limited selection of people. They call it a jury. You have to basically go through it to get in. And about 5 years ago, Laura and I were lucky enough to be juried into DragonCon. It was a big deal. And in order to go, you have to basically pay for it in advance, just like you do for most places. But DragonCon's unique in the fact that you pay for your next year's booth the day that the current convention is over. So basically, at the end of 2019, we had to pay for our 2020 booth, not realizing that 2020 was going to become 2020, right? So we had to wait a long time before we ever had an opportunity to come back and do this show. And during that time, we had the absolute luck of the draw to be put on what they call a corner booth, which basically means that, we're at an intersection and a lot of people can find us a lot easier. And we happen to be at the front of the room, which it makes us a very, very key position. So we were like, well, we obviously have to go. We can't let that money that we put into the booth just evaporate. So Laura and I were obligated to go to this show this year, no matter what, even though we were feeling a little sketch about the whole, DragonCon thing. We're in Atlanta, and Atlanta had, or Georgia in general, had a raising COVID numbers, and DragonCon very early on decided, you know what, we're not going to take any chances. You got to wear a mask. And hold on, we got a comment here over at Twitch. So this is something I get a lot, which is, has anybody ever told you look like the actor Seth Rogen?
Oh God, no.
The answer is yes. I get that a lot. Yeah, I hate that. But I get it a lot. Yeah, I get that quite a bit. I tell people, I get told by so many people all over the country, you remind me of a friend I know. The way you talk, the way you move, blah, blah. You remind me of this guy. You remind me of Seth Rogen. I make the joke that I am the most ununique person in the world. There must be like 15,000 of us because everybody knows a version of me. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, quite frankly. I don't know if we're just a unique breed and we're so memorable that everybody like knows us, or if it's just, I don't know. Like, they always say like when they make you, there's only one of you in the world, and I don't believe that. There's many of me out there, and Seth Rogen's one of us. So that's just kind of how that is. But yes, I've heard that many times before. Did you raid the Fruit Loops? Here, hand me a box. Let me show. No, I was going to show them what you just did. So while we're at DragonCon, we stay at the hotel, so we have the hotel breakfast, and so one of the things they have there are Fruit Loops. So Laura is about to go digging into some DragonCon Fruit Loops.
They're charging $30 for a buffet breakfast. I'm taking my $30 weight in Fruit Loops.
It's true. It's true. They actually do charge an insane amount for breakfast. But when you're a vendor and you don't have time because they open up the vendor hall early, you make sure you get your breakfast. So you go down to the hotel. They got this really nice setup. You sit down. They basically bring you all the food as much as you want. And Laura's like, for this much money, I'm going to steal some Fruit Loops. So she stole Fruit Loops.
Not stealing. I paid for them.
It's, you know what? It's true. You did pay for them. You just liberated them for future fooding.
That's correct.
And we're okay with that. But as I was saying, getting into DragonCon, getting on the booth, getting a vendor hall booth is a very big deal. And it was kind of crazy this year because one of the big problems that we had going into 2021 was the fact that we did not have necessarily the expendable money that we would normally have in years past in order to make a lot of product. DragonCon, or not DragonCon, PopCycle normally pays for itself. Basically, money we put into PopCycle allows us to make new product for PopCycle, and then we're able to take a nice little bit of profit and we're able to pocket that. But the rest of it goes into the company and we keep it rolling so that way we can make new stuff. There's been nothing going on for 18 months. So there's no money there to really roll stuff over because we had to survive, which is fine. We were lucky and fortunate enough that we were able to do that. But what it meant was going into DragonCon, we had to be very, very frugal, and we had to figure out ways to make sure that we could present a 100% awesome booth without draining our bank account. And we got very, very creative. And amazingly enough, everybody responded to it in such a positive way. I talked about this on our live stream on Facebook, and so I'll share with everybody here on Twitch and over on our YouTube, which is we were able to see the type of generosity and spending love from the audience that we have never seen at a show before. And that was because people were really excited to be able to go to a show. And they understood that they had to wear masks and that they had to have a negative COVID test or their vaccination with them. So that way they could get onto the ground, get onto the con floors. But when they got there, it was clear that people were happy that they were amongst friends again. And they were extremely generous with their time and their money. And there are some people who follow us every year. They come and they can't wait to see us. And they had already staked out a bunch of stuff. So like at 9 a.m. on Friday morning when they opened, actually, it wasn't, well, it was what, 9:30, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 9:30. It was supposed to open at 10. They opened up a half hour early on us. And this couple, they beelined right to us. They said wow, it was insane. And to tell you guys that we were doing multiple sales every minute for the entire day of Friday is not exaggeration. It was incredibly crazy, but it was so fulfilling. So the downside that we figured out was, as you're trying to sell to people with these masks on, because everybody's trying to, stay safe, you have to project more. So by Saturday afternoon, my voice was almost completely shot. I had very little voice left in order to project out. So I basically was on a hot drink diet, lozenges, and just resting my voice. So that way I had, the ability to project over Sunday and Monday.
90% of the time, I had no idea what anybody was saying to me.
It's true, because people were talking with their regular voice, and with the crowds, you had no idea.
I can't see your mouth. I have no idea what you're saying to me.
It's very true. If you can't see the mouth, it does make it trickier in order to kind of understand what people are doing. So that was interesting.
I was just not in my head.
Right.
I might have agreed to all kinds of things, and I have no idea what I agreed to.
It's true. It's true. Like, we could own beachfront property and a timeshare at this point. We don't know.
I mean, no money exchange.
No money exchange hands that way.
So I didn't sign any contract.
That's true. So you didn't go to the Crossroads and meet like Old Scratch or anything like that. So that's good. But the point is that it was an extremely crazy show, but it was an extremely generous show, and people were having so much fun, and they were so happy to see us. And some of the things we did to kind of give back was, because Laura and I are making new product and we're always coming up with new ideas, we have stuff that we don't sell anymore. So one thing we came up with were mystery bags. And this is fairly common. You'll see people, they'll come up with like these little bags that they'll have stuff in. And usually it's stuff that they're just kind of getting rid of. And we were the same way. We're like, well, these are products we're no longer carrying, but let's make these really cool. So we estimated that we put approximately $45 to $50 worth of product into one of these little lunch bags. We'd seal it up. We put a big question mark on it. And then we would sell it off for $10 a pop. And so we made like, I don't know, like 70, 85 of these bags.
60.
Was it 60? So we made like 60 of these bags. By the end of Friday, we had like 12 left, which was awesome. So by the beginning of Saturday, they were all gone. And according to Laura, they loved the little weird question mark that I did on the side, which was kind of cute because she had this gigantic Sharpie that I was able to quickly put these little question marks on. But people bought that, and then they would come back and tell their friends, and like, oh my God, I heard you had these mystery bags that are amazing. Can we get some? So they kept coming back and getting these mystery bags. Well, in addition to that, we also had our what called Swag and Seek, which is this thing where people just make up cool swag and they hide it around DragonCon. And if you find it, you get to keep it. So we made like 40, 45 bags of little Ziploc bags. And inside of it said, I'm not lost, I'm swag. If you want to keep me, feel free to do so. Leave me for somebody else, share with your friends, yada, yada. And we put like a bunch of stuff in there too. So, hi, Dante, how you doing? So between the mystery bags and the Swag and Seek bags, we had a lot of people coming up going, I've heard about your booth. This is really cool. Hey, Cat Gangster, how are you? So that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, people were coming in and they were buying all the pixels. And then they were extremely generous. We brought well over 200 plus pixel designs with us. I came back with like 32. Like out of like all of the, I mean, I brought an extremely heavy amount of pixels and we brought back like 30, like maybe. It was the cupboards were bare and people were still like, hey, can I get a custom order and stuff? Because as you know, we don't sell online, we only sell at shows. So people are like, I need this, I need this, I need this, which is great for our show because you guys are going to be able to see a lot of new stuff that we're going to make, which is part of the reason why we wanted to talk today to let you know what's going to be going on with us over the next few weeks. So for those who don't know, we only do a few shows a year because we have lives. We want to play with our dogs. We want to go on dates. We want to play video games, whatever. There's a lot of stuff we want to do. So we don't want to constantly be working. And COVID at least taught us to prioritize our own mental health and our own fun. So we're like, and Laura dropped a Fruit Loop, FYI, for those of you who are tuning in for Fruit Loops. But so we were like, okay, let's just keep it to like our basic shows. So we had Atlanta, which is DragonCon, and then we have a Chicago show, which is C2E2, which is Laura has found the Fruit Loop. And that's in early December. It's almost a Christmas show, basically. So we're going to be doing a Christmas show in Chicago, which is going to be crazy. And we're very excited for that. So I have about 12 weeks to prepare all of these custom orders and all of the new material that we're going to take to DragonCon. And that means we're going to be doing a lot of work. And so...
But we have news!
I was about to get to that. Would you like to come over and tell them?
I'm not wearing a bra.
Well, I mean, you could throw like a blanket on or something. Laura's in pajamas, so she's like, I'm indecent.
I'm indecent.
Okay, well, I think they can hear you. Can everybody hear Laura? Could somebody let me know if you can hear Laura? Laura, can you talk for a second so they can hear you?
No, I just want you to tell them.
Oh, you just want... No, never mind. She doesn't care.
I just wanted to proclaim that you had news.
We do have news. Okay, by the way, they can't hear you.
I know they can hear me. They can probably hear me even if we weren't twitching. They could probably hear me talking, just like naturally. Open up your windows and listen to the night. You can hear my voice on the wind.
They can hear you. By the way, before I get to the news, that we did have a question here, which is why not set up a Zoom call for those who couldn't make it or were not vaxxed but wanted to make a purchase, sort of like a Christie auction house with call-in bids. It's not a bad idea. Our internet wasn't that secure there, so we were on our own wireless plans, and the convention center internet is way too expensive. However, DragonCon did do something really cool, which is if you did not want to come because maybe you are immunocompromised or you didn't want to take a vaccine or you didn't want to get a negative test, they did have, what was it, Event Envy?
Store Envy,
They had basically, you could actually make an online store that was under DragonCon's banner and you could shop virtually. And then they also had DragonCon Online, which essentially allowed them to, it was like $10. you got to attend the convention virtually. So you got to see all of the big panels. And then they also had panels that were pre-recorded. I was actually on a couple of them. So you could actually see me virtually over there. And then, of course, you can watch all of their back material. So to answer your question, DragonCon did do that. But one of our gimmicks as PopCycled has always been the fact that whenever we make an online store, we don't sell anything. Like, we'll sell, like, I don't know, 20, 30 items over a year, but it's really not worth keeping an online store. For some reason, the magic doesn't work online, at least as far as sales are concerned. And we realized that, and we're like, why keep fighting it? Why keep trying to force it and try to find a way to get people to make this online? It's not like we could make a huge online store and keep that going while also making product for a show. So we're like, we're trying to kill ourselves to get noticed. Let's just not do online. So our personal business plan was turn a negative into a positive, which is we have a finite amount of time to make handmade items that we know we're taking to shows. And when we go to shows, we're going to sell through 50 to 65, maybe even 70% of all that product. So we're going to do a good sell through. So let's just focus on doing that. So we said, we are con exclusive only. You can only buy and order at shows. And it works for us. It works really well because it allows people to indulge that impulsive impulse buy mechanism that they have. And it also lets them know that we're unique, we're rare, you're not going to see us everywhere. And it also means that all of our designs are not going to be online. You're going to have to go to a show to see the cool new stuff that we make, unless, of course, you tune into Twitch or YouTube or something. Now, the flip side of that is people get very frustrated. And for the long-term viewers of our Twitch channel, you know that last year about this time, we did something called Con, which was we actually did what we never do, which is we turned on our online store. We put a lot of money into it. We basically made product and we said, hey, it's all for sale. And we made like 60 sales in like 2 months. And it just reinforced the idea of, you know what? This doesn't work for us online. And that's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. Face-to-face works great for us. We just don't do online. And yeah, I mean, there's really no negative to that. It's a bit of a bummer, but like when we did Con last year, we said, we're not doing this to try to make money. We were doing it to make sure that we didn't go crazy because everybody was locked inside for a year. So let's do something different. And it was a lot of fun. So I thought that it was extraordinarily successful in the fact that we did this massive event completely for free. And if people wanted to throw some money our way to help support us, they could. And some people did, and they're awesome. And those who couldn't, didn't, and that's okay too. Because as soon as we did a face-to-face show, everybody threw money at us. So that's all right. I mean, that's fantastic. We had people every day saying, I've been waiting for 2 years to come and see you guys. I want to buy all the things. How can you be upset at that? So yeah, I mean, it worked great. But to Laura's news, and this is a big deal for us. Since we started PopCycle, specifically the Pixel Bits, which you guys know on the Twitch channel, this is kind of how we started meeting each other. Was I started doing perler designs on Twitch. I've always talked about the fact that I never make kits. I never make kits of any of my pixel designs, and you have to buy the finished products. And over COVID, I got the idea of upgrading the vast majority of my designs. So I've been moving them from what I call the standard look into what we call the bling look. The bling look I created based off of this really cool video game that these guys made. It never got published, but it was just this really cool looking video game. And the style allowed characters to have more expression, allowed them to have a little bit more depth of muscle and outfits. And I was like, that's cool. I need to move in that direction because I felt my style was a little too thin. It was based on this old Dragon Ball video game that like only came out in Japan. And it was very small, but for somebody just starting, it was good. So I was moving into this bling mode and I was really expanding and trying all these different techniques and patterns. And the bling mode took off over the years, which was great because they're more expensive. They're about 20 to 30% more expensive than their standard counterparts, but they always sell better because people like the extra detail. So I realized over the COVID lockdown and the 18 months that we were sitting here that I should move all of my characters out of that old style into the bling style. And I've been slowly doing so. So during DragonCon, people kept asking, I wish you made kits. And I was like, yeah, I don't let my patterns get out. You know, I put a lot of time into them. You know, I recolor everything, even stuff that I'm lifting off of other pixel artists. I then go back and recolor myself because the way I choose to, you know, layer colors is going to be different than this guy. And I try to make it as unique to us as possible. And so then Laura kind of tapped me on the back and she said something kind of brilliant, which is, why don't we start selling the old standard designs as kits? And I never thought of that before. I was like, that's freaking brilliant. Like, why don't we sell them as kits? So Laura and I are going to be making pop cycled pixel bit kits that you can come and buy at our store face to face. And we're going to have superhero characters, some anime characters, all different kinds, but they're going to be in the smaller scale. They're not going to be in the bling scale. And they're not going to be standing up. It's just going to be the characters. But this is really great for parents who the kids want to come by and they want to make it, but they want to make that pattern. I'm not using them anymore. Those patterns are just going to waste. A lot of them have already made it online because people used to take photos of them all the time and do their own versions. So why not put it out in the world and then people can make their own? And Laura and I just put in a huge number of beads. If I told you guys,
I made a spreadsheet. She
did. Oh my God, guys, you should see the spreadsheet. This spreadsheet's amazing. We sat down, I figured out all the color variations. I figured out all the stuff we were going to do. Laura made this Excel sheet so that way I could say, we're going to make 6 of this character. Boop, boop. I know exactly what colors I need and in what quantities. So we put together the entire spreadsheet. I figured out exactly the colors I needed. I put it all together and I said, okay, what's the number? And what was it, like 135,000 beads or something like that? It was something insane. Laura's going to tell us. Hold on. She's going to go to her spreadsheet real quick.
Hold on.
And she's going to tell us. But while we're waiting for Laura to do that, hi, guys. How are you doing? What have you been doing? Has everybody been having a good time? Has anybody been doing anything cool, interesting? Cat Gangster said, who dang. Yeah, it's a lot of beads. It's a lot. Dante's got news. Okay, Dante, start typing your news. If I sidetrack, then we'll come back to it. And then we'll do that. Oh, I didn't put the comment up. Sorry. For those of you who might be watching over on Facebook, let me do that. And then Dante's got news. So
my spreadsheet is awakening.
Okay, so Laura's turning on her spreadsheet, and then we'll find out. But yeah, it's 100,000 plus.
That's why you should be friends with nerds like me.
Right, or marry a nerd like you.
132,134 beads.
132,134 beads.
That'll make 167 kits.
So 167 kits. Now, for legal reasons, we cannot call these characters by the names that they would be known as. So we've had to come up with new names. For instance, let's say you like a snarky assassin who frequently
likes tacos and
chimichangas and likes unicorns and bets in a pool about if you're going to be dead. We're going to call him Captain Snark. So if you want to pick that guy up, he'll be called Captain Snark. If you want to pick up a character who runs really fast and is frequently seen in a red outfit, we're calling him the Hot Streak. Let's see, what else? If you like a certain prince of all intergalactic beings that tend to have tails, and he always goes, it's over 9,000, we're calling him Angry Prince. Things like that. If you like a little yellow rabbit who tends to be, say, have a shocking personality, we're calling him Jolt Bunny. So we're not going to use
Is he a bunny?
He looks like a bunny to me with a big old tail. But he's got bunny ears. I don't know.
There is a bunny variant of him.
There is. I don't know.
I have the bunny variant right here.
Do you? Okay.
Debbie found it in a parking lot and brought it to me.
Really?
It's a little tiny one.
Aw.
I'll show you.
Laura's going to show me the little bunny variant of are you sure it's not a Richu? Or I think that's what Pichu, I think is what it's called. But anyways, so point is that we are not making kits so that way you or your friends or your kids or whomever can actually buy them, take them home, and make them yourself. And they'll all be sorted out, bagged. You're actually getting the beads and the pattern so you can take it home, you can make it and have fun. We hope it's going to be a very popular seller, but then you'll also have the blings, which will be the next step up from that.
It's gone. He's been stolen.
So Laura can't find the bunny, but okay, here's Dante's story. So we're going to pause pop cycling for a second. We're going to catch up with our friend Dante. I'm going to read this out loud. Now, Dante's a longtime watcher of the show. One of the things we always like to tell people is we like this to be a fun community, so we want you to let us know what is going on with you. Yeah, so let's see what happened with Dante. So she said, so you guys know I had 2 cats, Ginger and Pepper. Sadly, in Christmas, Ginger died, and last month, Pepper died. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your kitties. It was very sad, but the end of life comes. But at the end of life comes new life. That's good water. Okay, sorry about that. And I was able to save a kitty. Her name is Pumpkin, because she looks like a black pant with pumpkin guts got mixed into her color. So she's black and orange. Okay. Well, she was lonely after Pepper had passed. So my friend asked me if I could take her kitty. And so I acquired a tuxedo that is named Lucky Loki. And as of yesterday, my dad fell in love with these 2 kittens, Wendy and Stormy, a sibling combo. Oh, that's cute. So now you're going to have a bunch of kitties. So we went from having 2 to having 4. Nice. Did you find your little Pika Pika?
No.
Oh, it's hiding.
It's been peed.
Captain Snark, isn't that the cold guy earlier in a speed running guy show? No. You're thinking. Hold on, I gotta put this up here real quick. No, you're thinking of Captain Cold. That is the actual name. He's a rogue from the Flash. But yes, that's who you're thinking of. No, Captain Snark is our version of a certain Marvel hero. And then Dante would like to say officially. So now I have 4 cats and I'm a crazy cat lady. You know what? That just puts you in good company. Our friend Christina, she has like 3 cats, like 6 dogs, chickens. I think she's got a goat. Woman's got a whole farm. So if you know Christina, she's got a bunch of animals that she loves. So there's nothing wrong with having a bunch of animals. But the kits are going to be something that you're now going to be able to pick up at our store. And I think that's going to be really fun for people who maybe want to make some of our old designs. We're not doing a lot of crazy designs right now. It's only like 40 something designs, but there will be a nice mix of characters. And then if they sell well, then we'll kind of like, working that up and kind of building out from there. Oh, you changed your job. You work at Domino's now instead of cards. That's cool. Never got Domino's. I know you're supposed to like line up the numbers, but I never paid attention to it to the degree I need to. But that brings us up to what we're going to do here on Twitch and on Facebook and whatnot, which is now that we're back and we have 12 weeks and we're making stuff, I'm going to try very earnestly to create at least 2 videos a week, or at least 2 sit downs a week with you, so you can see kind of the stuff that we're working on. The very first thing we're going to do, and this is probably going to be tomorrow night or Tuesday night, depending on how I'm feeling after work, is we're going to be designing something I have never done before. And I'm going to, well, what's happening, sweetie? You're trying to find the little guy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
I love him and he's missing.
Okay, so Laura's losing her mind. She's trying to find this little yellow guy. Did he fall between the cracks in the games or something, maybe? So anyways, she's doing that. But one of our longtime clients, a good friend of ours, she plays D&D with us, Callie, has ordered a Sentinel from X-Men. And if you know X-Men, you know that I do a lot of X-Men designs. She's bought basically all of them. And they're all pretty awesome. And she's already looking to start to bling up a little bit of her collection because a few of the older ones are the old style, the standard style. But she wants a Sentinel. That has always been her dream. She wanted all the X-Men and then like a Sentinel to fight them. And I said, sure, we can make that happen. And I kept saying it's going to be like a heck ton of money. And she was like, don't care, want it. And I was like, all right. So about a month and a half, 2 months ago, she said, okay, I'm ready to make the purchase. And I said, are you sure? You know, this is not going to happen until after DragonCon. She's like, I'm absolutely sure. And I said, okay. So I worked together a quick thumbnail and I said, this is what I think it's going to cost. And she said, let's do it. And I'm just like, what? Yeah, the question on hand is, will it be in the same scale as the rest? Yes, Cat Gangster, it will be. Which is part of the problem because this thing's going to be huge. So we're going to have a giant Sentinel. That's going to be, you found your old Game Boy? Yeah, Laura's finding all kinds of stuff right now. And I wanted to show you what we're going to start working on tomorrow night or Tuesday night. So this is just a sneak preview. We'll come back to this. Let me make sure it's all set up. So that way, yep, okay, good. Now I'm going to come back over here and we're going to share screen for a second. One moment. And we're going to share the screen. You guys are going to see what's going to happen here in just a moment. Hey, Callie. Callie just signed in to hear about the Sentinel. Here we go. So either tomorrow night or Tuesday night, we're going to work on this. But here we go. Let's talk about the Sentinel.
He's obviously been kidnapped.
Boom. Okay, so this is a Sentinel. Now, you might be going, well, that doesn't seem too big. And you know what? You don't have scale yet. So let me show you what we're dealing with here. So hold on. Let me pull up. Yeah, if you guys have never seen my crazy little method here, we just need a big board. Where's my big board? By the way, I can't see anybody's comments right now, so don't get too snarky on me.
I ate them.
What? You ate my comments?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's weird. Where are my X-Men? Okay, that'll work. We're going to come to this guy. By the way, if you ever wanted to know how small the canvas really is that I work on, that's how small my canvas is. So, woo! All right, so this is just me kind of quickly moving around here. And forgive the big old green dot in the middle. This is one of the older pieces that we have. All right. So let's give you some scale here. Nope, we don't need to save that. Thank you. All right, so I need to move him up here. And we need to show you just how big this thing is going to be. All right, now, I've told Callie that I might have to do some adjustments. I might have to make him a little bit smaller, but here, let me just give you a true scale of just how big this honky is going to be when we put it all together. So if Wolverine is a standard character size, which actually he's on the small side, haha, and we're dealing with a Sentinel, there you go, all right? So this Sentinel is not going to be small. As you can see, he's going to be quite robust. And yeah, we're going to design this thing. Now, this is based off of the old Marvel vs. Capcom video game. This is one of the Sentinel summons. It is not a great piece to work on. In fact, if I zoom in here, you'll see that you can see that there's a lot of colors here that aren't matching up. You can see there's a lot of pixelation. This is what is known as dithering, which is basically where they kind of blend colors together. So I got to clean all that up. See these semi-transparent pieces? None of that's workable. Now, there's a way to get around this, and it's what is called hardlining. And hardlining means that we're going to go through and we're going to make this look a lot more rigid, but you lose some of the gradation details. So you go from this to that. Now, if you know my style is crisp, it's clean, everything's in a black line. There's a lot to work on, which means that I've got to find a way to keep this guy's detail going, keep him looking somewhat like this, but get him into a hardline mode like this. And then I have to draw out his legs so that way he's going to be able to keep the same size. Now, there is the distinct possibility that he might have to be shrunk down just a little bit to make sure I have enough room for his legs. But that's the scale we're talking about. So we're going to go on an adventure, and you guys are going to be able to watch as I actually figure out how I'm going to design this and get this into the right detail mode that I want to work on before we make it. And then this weekend or later this week, we're going to start making this. Now, for those who are curious, this is just something I want you to know. And here, actually, let me kind of, if you can see me in the corner, and I'll zoom in. You see one of these little squares right here that I'm holding in my hands, and I know I'm like really tiny on the screen? One of these squares is one of these checkerboards in the background. So that means he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 in the change of these tall, and he's approximately 4 wide. So do the math, right? So 6 times 4, pretty easy. That's 24 of these cats all put together. This thing is going to be massive. These things are about 4 inches a piece. So, I mean, again, do your math. He's going to be a big honking boy. And it's going to be a little crazy. But that's the cool part is we get to go through this and you get to see this adventure that we're going to make together. And so that way you can kind of see exactly how we build this. But if you've ever been curious about my boards, this is what I do. This is how I build out my boards. So there you go. And we'll tell a little bit more on that later on. So I'm going to go back to this now. So boop, boop. Let me go back over here. There we go. And yeah, he a big boy. So that's what we're going to work on. It's going to be a little nuts. I'll be honest. It's going to be crazy. But, you know, just remember, 24 of these cats. It'll be huge. But we got to design them first. And then we're going to get to the fun part, which is making him. Yeah, Laura and I put in an order today for the beads. And it was a lot of beads. I'm very lucky in the fact that I already have a lot of the purple and the pinks, so I did not have to go too crazy, but it's a lot of beads, and that's okay. But I'm really looking forward to that, and I think Callie's going to lose her brain when she finally sees it. So, yeah, that's amazing. He a big fella. Yeah, it's going to be a big chunk. Now, once we get done with that, we're then going to be making a Monster Hunter character called Mangalamo. I'm not exactly sure how to say it, for my buddy Donald. And I hope to have the Sentinel and the Mangalam, I don't know how to say it, we'll call him MG, and the MG character done by the end of this weekend. So for those of you who might be watching this on Facebook or catching us on Twitch for the first time and going, oh, I wonder when he's going to get to mine, my plan is to go ahead and start to crack these out basically after this next 7 days, where I get these older orders done, because they've been very patient, want to knock those out and then move on to the next set. So it's about 7 days. And then I plan on doing 3 a day. It might get as low as 2, but so I should crank through those pretty quickly. I've got about 30 orders to make. So it'll take me about 2 weeks to get through everybody's pieces. And then after that, we will be making exclusively pieces for C2E2. And by my math, I'll need to make about 2 a day. And then on the weekends, I'll make a few more. So
100 a day.
I can't make 100 a day.
200 a day.
At my fastest, I can make 10 a day. And that's me just blitzing. Anything faster than that, I don't know. And then, of course, we're making the kits. So there is a lot. Let's see here. So Pumpkin is hesitant of all the kitties, but all the kittens are living their best lives right now. Well, that's good, Dante. I'm glad that your kitties are adjusting well. So for those of you who are curious about Sasha and Corday, let's give you a doggo report. Sasha and Corday are well. Corday, while we were gone, was extremely well behaved. As you guys know, she's getting a little bit older now. So, she has a little bit of problems with her bladder sometimes, or, like her stomach can get a little upset. And she was fine all the way up until the day we came back. The morning we were coming back, Corday's stomach started getting irritated. And this is classic Corday. 5-6 days away, and her stomach starts to go a little sour. So she gets nervous, and so she'll start to vomit a little bit. Ironically, though, she then immediately wants to eat it, and we're like, no, we're not doing that.
And then puke it up and eat it again.
Right,
it's an endless cycle.
It is an endless cycle for dogs. But that's actually a good thing, because it means that what's happening is not sickness; it's just something else. So we got home.
I was very nervous on Friday.
Yeah,
I was almost in despair.
Yeah.
Because I was just so worried about her.
Yeah. So basically, from Tuesday to Thursday,
we did what all the medical people said we should do.
Right.
And it's been working.
Yeah.
So she hasn't thrown up. Knock on wood. Knock on my head.
Yeah. For 3 days.
She hasn't thrown up in 3 days.
Yep.
Since we what'd they say? They said faster, but I said absolutely not. Right. I'm not going to fast her, because that'll make her angry, anxious, and whatever. So they said reduce her food.
Yeah.
So we reduced her food.
Because we were noticing that
and the food
that she was throwing up a little bit of chunks of wet food.
Her food, and also we fed her more. We fed her 3 times a day instead of 2 times a day.
Right. So we split it up differently.
Right. So in the middle of the night.
Like now, basically.
Yeah.
Which is like 11 p.m.
So around 1 and 2 and 3 in the morning, she's not hungry because she hasn't eaten in 7 hours.
Right.
So, so far it's been working.
Yeah, it has been working really well, and she's been fine. So Corday's been good. And her energy's been good the entire time. She's not been lethargic or anything. She's just been having a little bit of a upset stomach, but we think we got a handle on it now.
We also started her on a new
medicine. Yeah.
Medicine.
And that was the other thing, is that her medicine had ran out right when we got back, and we tried to order it, and all of the dog's medicine was out of order. They can't find it. So we had to basically ask the doc, well, what's the equivalent? And they were able to give us 2 prescriptions that we were able to get. It cost about the same. It was like $45 for both of them. So
it was half of what I paid for the other thing.
So, it all worked out. But we have a question on board here, which is Callie said, can't wait to see you guys at C2E2. And Gerds said, is that a Comic-Con? And yes, it basically is. It's considered the Chicago Comic-Con. I forget what the C2E2 is. The Chicago Comic-Con Expo.
It's the Chicago Entertainment Expo.
Yeah, it's the Chicago Comic-Con Entertainment Expo, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's C2E2. But yeah, it's a
Entertainment Expo. That's it. Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo.
There you go. Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, I think is what it is. But regardless, it's 2 C's and 2 E's. Normally, it's a show that happens like in March, but obviously this past March it wasn't going to happen. So what we think they're doing, our guess is they're doing this show in December because they're trying to get it as close to their original date as possible, and they're going to skip 2022, and then they're going to have their 2023 show in February/March of 2023. So that way, they're only like, instead of it being, having one in December, then having one 4 months later, that's not sustainable. You won't have good growth. You can basically stretch it out to where it's like 14 months instead of 12 months, which is a much more reasonable thing to ask for. And I think that's probably the wisest decision. So unless they change it on us, that's our guess what's happening. But yeah, so we'll be doing that in December, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then that'll be our last show for a while. Our friend Mike has a local show here in Charleston, which is sometime in the late winter, and it's called the Captain Comics Expo that we do. But that's about it until we get into June, where we do Heroes Con in Charlotte. And then, of course, we go back to DragonCon. So we got a lot of cool stuff planned. And, of course, we also have started doing these jars. We call them jar heads. And it was a brand new thing. Did we show them off? Yes, we did. We showed them off at one of our last things. And if you caught them, you know what we're talking about. But what we've done is we started taking these really cool stuffed animals, and we've basically gutted them. And then what we've done is we put mason jars inside of them. So that way you can just seal the heads on, and it looks just like a regular stuffed animal, but you open it up and you can put like cookies or whatever you have inside of it. And we made custom Loki ones, Loki Finokis. We made Baby Grogus, we made Pikachus, we made all kinds of different Pokemon. We even did a Michael Myers, which was hilarious. And people loved them. They could not get enough of them. So we also made some out of Care Bears. And then Laura specifically is modifying a Care Bear. It used to be called Good Luck Bear. And now she's making it into Don't Care Bear. And if you don't know what Don't Care Bear is, you should go and Google it because it's pretty funny. But we're making a bunch of those, and we did get a Master Chief. We got some Bob Rosses. We got a lot of cool pieces that we're making. We got more Pokemon.
We got more Care Bears.
Yeah, we got some more Care Bears, a few more Grogus, and this is just where we're starting. So over the next 3 months, we'll continue to buy more and make more. So we'll have a very large, very robust grouping of these jar heads when we go to Chicago. Okay, so we have a question. Jake said, is that really a thing? Yes, Dante, it is really a thing. We saw it and we thought it was adorable as hell, and we said, you know what? Yeah, let's make them. And they have been extremely popular.
There's a picture of the prototype I did today.
Would you like to show them the prototype? So we're going to show you Don't Care Bear.
He's not fluffed yet.
Yeah, so he's not fluffed.
He looks very thin.
Here we go. So let me.
There's no fluff in his arms.
So there's a jar hidden in there. And his stomach symbol gives you an idea of what the original, because we saw this on Instagram or something, and it was implied what it was for. So are they boxed in case someone wants to display them like Funko Pops? No.
They're much bigger than that.
They're much bigger. Do you want to grab one of the Funshine Bear? Laura's going to go grab one of the few that we.
They're at. Where are they wrapped in?
They're just in a box. Oh, they're in I don't remember. They're in one of the boxes. She's going to go see if she can find them. But no, we're not individually wrapping them. They're just there, and then you can take them, and we put them in plastic and whatnot. That was probably one of the weird things that we had to do for this year at DragonCon, was that people kept wanting to touch them. We're like, oh, please don't touch COVID. And they go, oh, right. And they pull their hands back real quick. So Laura found one. So she's going to bring one over here so you can see one in person. But yeah, they actually all come in different sizes. The custom ones, like the Grogus, they're like 9, 10 inches tall. The Loki Finokis are approximately the same size with the
one Care Bear that we have left.
The Care Bears are, I think, like these are like what, 6 inches tall?
They're 8 inches tall.
They're 8 inches tall. Okay. So this is the Funshine Bear. This is the only Care Bear that didn't sell. So, but yeah, we just got a little. What's this in his butt? What's that?
That's his button.
That's his little button. Oh, I didn't notice the button.
They all have a button on their butt.
I just noticed that for the first time.
I want to cut it out, but I think there's a hole.
There is a hole. There's definitely a hole
there.
It's
a big punch.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so you can see, and then when you're ready to pop it back on, you just.
Because it's a pain in the butt to get the jar in around their button.
And there you go. So, but yeah, we're not individually boxing them. These like come in packs of 5, and if you buy them individually, they just have a little tag on their head. So
they have a tag on their head.
There's no boxes for them, unfortunately. Now the kits that we're making, they will be individually bagged, and all the pixels will be in there and whatnot. I think Laura's even talked me into bagging the individual colors, which I think is overkill, but she's like, be nice. I said, okay. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. But yeah, the jar heads sold exceptionally well. I was very surprised. I was like, oh, they'll sell okay during the whole weekend. We were basically sold out by Saturday mid-afternoon. So on Sunday and on Monday, we were there was just a couple left. And we're like, you all right?
Yeah.
That was extremely dramatic.
I know, right?
I mean, that was like, we're gonna give you an award. So that's what we're doing. Let me see. What else is going on? We talked about the new kits. We talked about C2E2. We talked about doing designs this week and then trying to do at least a show or two every week, showing off some of the new stuff that we're doing. We talked about the jar heads. Laura, random fandom. I've been asked many times when we're going to do our Friday the 13th random fandom. We're almost to the spooky season. Well, for us, we're in spooky season.
I'm always in spooky season.
To be fair, we're always in spooky season, but officially in our head, spooky season starts on September 1st.
No, we suck again.
So why do we suck?
Just a picture I
saw. Okay. So the question is, Laura, when do we get to do the random fandom? Because we have been asked, and I think it's only fair that we finally do it.
I don't know. I'm so busy.
I know, but we should be able to take like an hour out of our day and have fun. Would it be more fun if we got somebody else to come and sit with us and talk about it too? Like if I got Brittany to come and talk about a little fun stuff, maybe? Make it a fun affair for everybody?
You can try.
Okay. So I tell you what, guys, I'm going to work on Laura. We're going to get that going, and I'll get us a guest, and then we will random fandom together. And then we'll try to sprinkle that in a few times over the next couple months and see how you guys like it. But it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So if there's something that you would like to talk about for a future show, or you'd like for us to cover on a topic, please let me know. One thing that's been happening a lot lately is a lot of people have been asking me how I've been doing with all the political stuff and all of the just kind of like stuff that's going on in the world, And Laura and I are trying to stay away from that because, unfortunately, that brought out a lot of people that were just not wanting to talk. They were just wanting to yell at each other. And we talked about maybe doing some kind of broadcast where we talk about positive things and kind of how to frame conversations. And one thing I've been doing a lot lately is I'm always kind of concerned about, now that I'm in my 40s, what are we leaving for, our kids, our grandkids, my nieces, my nephews, all that stuff. And one of the things that I'm really focused on right now is, kind of climate effort stuff, and I've been noticing that there's a lot of bad news and a lot of people are like, man, this sucks. And they feel like everything's on fire and nothing's happening. And so I went digging to see if that was true. And I came up with some really, really good news. The short answer is, yeah, things are bad and they're going to get worse for like the next 15 years. But in that 15 years, there are active plans in America and across the world where people are really working the problem. And by the middle of the 2030s, we're going to have a handle on this. I'm firmly confident in that. Now, I can link you to a bunch of articles. I can do a whole, broadcast on that down the line if you like. But that's something we were thinking of doing just because I think we forgot how to process good news. And if you don't believe me, that whole Steve from Blue's Clues thing that happened last week is, or this past week, is a perfect example. We need people telling us the real issues and the real situations. And we also need people telling us the good things because our brains are wired for that. We need the positive reinforcement as much as we need the negative.
For yours too.
And I think we've been feeding, there's this concept of the two wolves. You have, there's a wolf inside of you who is evil and dark, and there's a wolf inside of you who is good and kind. Which wolf is going to win in the end? And the old saying is whichever one you feed more. And I think we've been feeding our bad wolf a little too much, and we need to start feeding our good wolves more. So I'm trying to think of a way where we can feed our good wolves together collectively and have a mature, honest conversation and give you some hope, because there's a lot of cool stuff in the world. But with that said, I think we're going to focus right now on doing art, doing some random fandom stuff, and maybe like in a couple weeks, I'll do like a one-off. But do not expect me to start doing my updates like I did, because I think that's just going to be a special treat for our friends at certain times, because I love you all, but some of you out there, you get a little angsty and militant, and that's there's only so much bandwidth we can have for people. So I think our bandwidth is going to stay on the geeky side of things, but I definitely think that there's some positive news out there that I think folks would really like to hear. So if that's something you want to know, let us know in the comments. Tell us that that's something that you would like us to do, every once in a while. And if not, tell us okay too. That it's perfectly fine to be like, yeah, I'm not here for that. I'm here for art and I'm here for geeky stuff. That's okay. I just, I'm a person who likes to share my interests with people. So I always like to kind of present that and let people make their own decisions. People need to chill on the Halloween backlash. Like, yeah, it's September, but haunted houses and Halloweens need to start the month before due to building and stacking delays. And they need to relax, understand that retailers and people do that. That's actually a fair point.
Halloween should never go away.
Yeah, Halloween should never die, but that's a personal philosophy for us. We love Halloween.
I want to see Halloween at Christmas.
Laura and I actually have something in this house that we call our mood table. And our Halloween mood table stays up all year long. And it's literally a Halloween village. Like you have a Christmas village, we have a Halloween village. And the Halloween village always has our little town of little spookies and witches and stuff. And it's just there. And we can turn it on and it'll make noises and it'll be woo. And I'll tell you, in February, when you just need a good little spook, it's a great time to just turn that thing on. Mood tables are amazing. And I learned about this from a guy called Dinosaur Dracula. If you've never heard of him, you should go find him. His name is Dinosaur Dracula. And you can Google him. He also does a podcast called the Purple Stuff Podcast. And he does a lot of retro stuff. He talks about the 80s and the 90s, and he talks about fandom and stuff. And he loves commercials and food stuffs. And him and his buddy, they have a lot of fun together. And every year around this time or so, he makes his mood table. And his mood table puts everybody's to shame. It's like, one year, I think it was 3 years ago, he took a standard little table and he put an old 4x3 boob tube television, one of those big thick ones that are just square. And then he basically built like a shrine around it. And he had a VCR plugged into it, and all day he would just pop in VHS tapes of various horror movies. And then he would have like all these little toys around it, and he'd have like these little LED candles and stuff. And yeah, it's pretty freaking crazy. And I loved it. I thought it was so great. And I said, I'm definitely going to do a mood table. So Laura and I put together one, and then boom, we were off to the races. And so now we have our little Halloween town that stays up all year round. Yeah, so Dante said that she's going to start making props. And I love that. I think making props are a lot of fun. But yeah, Halloween is a huge piece. Quite frankly, from Labor Day all the way through New Year's is my favorite time of the year. I love that. Halloween scares the crap out of us a bit. Then we go into the Thanksgiving time where, you go and you have, meaningful, hopefully meaningful times and dinners with your friends and family. Then you have Christmas where you just give each other's gifts, and the New Year's you celebrate something new. Celebrating the positive is a big deal for me. And yeah, so I'm a big fan of celebrating our happy. And we actually had a comment here, which is trick-or-treaters must love coming to your house. We are actually known as the scary house in the neighborhood in a good way. Kids love coming to our house. We have a giant inflatable, what is she, 10 feet tall?
Yeah.
She a 10-foot tall dragon that we call
She had a baby this year.
Yeah, she's called Maleficent. She's a black and green and purple dragon. And she's got like LED lights in her chest and stuff. And we turn her on. And then we got a smaller dragon with her now that's named Diablo. So now we have Diablo Drake that'll go next to her. And then we put spooky lights up, and then we have these projectors that we put on the side of the house. And then we have this a big jack-o'-lantern that we put this flashing light inside of, and then it actually burps out like fog. So as the kids are walking up to get candy, it's stuff, and then we'll have music playing, and it freaks them the hell out. It's awesome. And we've been living here since 2014, and we are now known in the neighborhood as everybody goes to that house. We always give out good candy, and we always make it fun. And we have kids now that are getting a little bit older, and apparently from what we can tell on all the boards of our neighborhood, those kids have extremely fond memories of our house. And the little kids who have been growing up around us since they were 2 and 3, they're now 8, 9, 10, and they're I can't wait to go to that house. That house is amazing. And what's funny is that the dragon actually stays up basically from October 1st all the way through Christmas, because we have a Christmas variant of her. So once the Halloween one goes down,
we need to get a baby Christmas dragon because
we do need a baby Christmas dragon.
Holificent needs to have a baby.
Yeah, so we have Holificent, which is the holiday version of her. We have Halificent and Holificent. But yeah, she's got a little Santa hat and everything. And so she comes out, and people love the Christmas dragon too. So, and they'll stop and they'll take photos in front of the Christmas dragon and stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We love decorating our house during this time of year. I keep telling Laura, if I could figure out a way to get Halificent looking like a pilgrim or something, we leave her up through Thanksgiving, like have
I'll put a hat on.
like a hat or something on her head. But we have a lot of fun with it, and people really like our house during this time of year. Oh, we have some comments. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Last year we started a haunted house. We aren't doing it this year because my dad fell off the roof, but we're making props for next year. Hey, you're just building forward. Trust me, we did that. It's a good idea. We also have, I was reheating tea on the stove and sort of fell asleep, and something went very wrong with it. And it smells like something that was corrupted from the sixth hell realm.
What the fuck kind of tea are you making?
I don't know what kind of tea you're making, Kat, but I think you need to throw that out and just start over fresh. Do not drink hell tea, okay?
Do not drink sulfur tea.
Do not drink your sulfuric tea. I know you want to. I know the curiosity is great, but do not be that curious cat. Throw it away. Just let it go. No brimstone
or
tea
drink it and tell us what it
is worth that.
or just drink it.
Or just drink it. Fair enough. One other thing before we go. I did not realize how fat I was last year, but holy crap, did I realize. I was going through some of our old videos, and I was like, damn, I got fat. You guys got to call me out when I get fat, man. Look at my face. Like, it's so much skinnier now. Look at this. It's nice. And you guys are getting like the bad angle. You're getting like the up angle too. And it's like, it's not bad. Like, all right. Like, so, but yeah. I said this at DragonCon. I was looking through some old videos, like, oh, look at this. And then Laura, I said, God, I was fat last year. And she just started yelling at me. She's like, don't call yourself fat. My Pookie loves me no matter what, but she doesn't like me calling myself fat. But I was very big. And I'm glad I lost all that weight, which, by the way, the weight has been staying off. I think I've actually lost a little bit more. Haven't really been doing any exercise, though. We've just been focusing on our meals. But now that we're back, I'm going to try to get back into doing some more exercise. So that's good. Because the exercise really does help. But now that it's getting cooler as we go through this, it's going to be a fun time. But that said, the only other thing that we have to worry about for the next, I'd say, 3 to 5 weeks are hurricanes. This is prime time for when South Carolina gets hit with hurricanes. So we got to spend the next 5 or 6 weeks kind of on high alert just to kind of keep an eye out on stuff. And if you've been looking at the NOAA stuff, you know that the Atlantic is just churning right now, which is good. It means we're getting rid of heat. But it also can create some pretty crazy storms. So if you are in an area that can get hit by storms, just make sure you have your hurricane stuff prepared. Hopefully you won't need it. And just, be prepared. It's always good. We got a couple other things here. Let's see here. I was very mad about Spirit's Beetlejuice animations. Okay, our Spirit stores haven't opened up yet, so we don't know.
Spirit stores yet.
Our Spirit store that normally opens up like a mile down the road is not opening up a mile down the road. It's opening up like 3 more miles down the way. So we got to go into like this really crazy shopping center in order to get there.
Try.
But we'll check it out, and then we will have a talk about the crappy quality. Cat Gangster has said that I put my finger in the water. I dissolved the mess. I dissolved the mess in, and it was not good. Okay, you're sleepy, buddy. You need to get some sleep,
well,
or you might need to wake up.
It's like tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning over there or something.
I think it's like morning.
It might be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of which, it is almost 11:30, and I do have to get up for work tomorrow. But 5. It is 5 in the morning over there. Wow.
So it's time to wake up.
So it's time to wake up for Cat Gangster.
Or is it time to go to bed? I don't know.
It might be time to go to bed. I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
I don't know what Cat Gangster's schedule is. I don't know if he has like a night owl schedule, or they have a night owl schedule.
Maybe they're vampires and they're about to go to sleep.
Right. Well, you've been watching too much What We Do in the Shadows. We did a rewatch of What We Do in the Shadows for the season premiere that happened while we were at DragonCon, and yeah, we've been laughing our butts off.
Also, if you're a vampire, please come and turn me into a vampire, because pretty soon I'm going to be too old to be a vampire, and I don't want to spend all eternity with an old body.
You don't want to be an old vampire. You want to be a youngish vampire?
I want to be a youngish, mature-ish vampire.
A mature-ish vampire?
Yeah.
Are we really mature, though? I mean, I know physically we're mature, but mentally, I don't know.
I don't know, my back says I am.
Yeah, my back sometimes. My back is like, you old. My back's like, seriously. Let's see here. If I can remember. Oh wait, hold on. Let's see here. I have been sleeping all weekend because you were hit with a COVID shot too. Oh, well, good on you for getting your vaccine. And honestly, everybody, go get your vaccines. There's a lot of people talking about that.
The first dose actually affected me more than the second dose.
Yeah.
With me, and it's different for everybody. But the first dose, I actually felt miserable. But the second dose, I was fine, other than the giant golf ball that grew on my arm.
Right, you had COVID arm, yeah.
Like Sean was fine, but it was so big.
Yeah, she had a golf ball on her.
Through my shirt.
Yeah,
it was just this huge ball.
Well, so for those of you who don't know and keep up with this, because I keep up with a lot of this stuff, is oh wait, if you can remember to please tag me when my big fella gets started. It's been so long since I pushed that button. It feels good. What button? Oh, it must be a feed the pups button. Callie must have fed the pups. I'm in the wrong app, so I don't get to see that. Laura's not watching us right now, so
I'm watching sewing videos.
The pups are dead ass asleep, so we're not gonna push that button right now.
Her little wet nose is leaving wet spots on the couch.
Yeah, they are passed out asleep.
She's sleeping so hard.
So we're not gonna wake them up.
She's leaving a little wet spot from the humidity of her breathing out.
I would show you guys where Laura is right now, but Laura, she's in her pajamas and she would not.
Got a whole bunch of side boob going on here. There will be.
Callie said it's okay. She just wanted to push the feed the pups button. She just wanted to.
No photos.
No photos right now. But yeah, the COVID thing though, for those of you who are still kind of hesitant on that, definitely get the shot. It's important. I know a lot of people are like, well, you can still get it, yes, but you won't die. That's a big thing. And that's the biggest problem.
I like not dying.
I'm a big fan of not dying.
Unless I want to turn into a vampire.
Well,
if you're turning me into a vampire, I accept death.
Okay, fair enough. But
otherwise, no.
One of the things that I've been reading time and time again is that if you get a reaction on your first shot, chances are you've had COVID and you didn't realize it. Laura and I, as you know, were pretty confident that we had COVID last March after C2E2. And when we got our first shot, we were pretty miserable for about 5 days. The second shot wasn't a big deal. So with Cat Gangster, he's having a reaction to the second shot. It means that you've probably been safe up until this point, and your body reacted to the first one. So now the second one's didn't really react to the first one, but the second one coming in, it's not reacting, which is good. That's also a good thing. But get that vaccine. I actually just read a report on NPR, and not to go into this too deep, but that basically said that if you do get your vaccination shot, and you've already had COVID, or then you get COVID afterwards, you basically build up what is, and it's an mRNA vaccine, you're building a super immunity. They've been doing tests on people who have been exposed to SARS-CoV-19, and the immunity is so strong, it actually is affecting COVID-01, which was the original SARS way back in 2001 when they first discovered COVID. And it's a vastly different mutation than what we had in 2019. And it's even preventing that. So if you're so hesitant on it, definitely think about, going there and getting it. That's how we're going to get through this. But if you don't, I understand your choices. Just stay safe. I don't want to see anybody get hurt out there. That's the big thing. Because I don't want to see anybody get hurt unnecessarily. So just take care of yourself, no matter what. But with that, I think it's about time to go. So I will be doing either, like I said, depending on how Monday is. Work has been crazy lately. So it'll either be Monday night or Tuesday night. We'll be doing designs in Photoshop. It could be awesome. You guys could have a great time, or you could be completely bored. I have no idea. We will do our best to be entertaining while I'm doing Photoshop designing. And I'll probably do a little bit more work. So to remind you guys what we're going to be doing here, I'll show you again, just real quick, is we're going to be working on... We're going to be working on this cat right here. We're going to be working on this. Here, let me do the anti-alias version. There we go. We're going to be working on this Sentinel here. And again, for scale, that's one of my normal pixel bits. That's how big this thing's going to be. It's a big old chunker. But we're going to basically be making a finished version of this that I can use, because right now the colors are all wrong. So I got to recolor this. We're going to go through. I'm going to walk you through how I kind of do a design of this scale. Fortunately, he's so big, it's going to be fairly easy to grok it out, but it's still going to be a fun time. And then shortly thereafter, we will actually be making him in real life, row by row. So we'll be going through row by row. and that will be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll come and hang out with us. And if you have any questions on how I do stuff and whatnot, I'll be more than happy to answer that. But yeah, this is one of my little tricks that I use. But yeah, this is my little Photoshop that I got. And we'll be making all kinds of fun stuff. So I do hope that you will join us for that. And that will be earlier this week and earlier this coming week. And if you want to come and hang out, great. And if not, that's okay too. And then we'll be working on some big pieces. And then starting after we get these 2 really large pieces done, all those DragonCon orders are going to start getting processed out. It's going to be a lot. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, I'm out of talk time. It's been an hour. I'm going to go. I hope you all are having a wonderful evening, a wonderful Sunday evening if you're somewhere terrestrially near me. If you are somewhere and it's already Monday, I hope your Monday starts well. I hope this is a good start to it. And I hope you all stay well and safe, and everybody just continue to take care of each other and make sure to just, be the best human you can be. And we will see you next time. So I'm going to do that countdown. So even though it says starting soon, I'll do one eventually. I need to do our rebranding, so that way it says leaving, and then I'll do the countdown for leaving. But you know what's going on. So everybody, have a fantastic evening. Have a good morning, wherever you may be. We will see you in a few days, and we'll talk to you then. Have a great night, folks. Bye.